traffic very well. I can manage.
What do you do there? Yeah, I have idea and also financial planning.
Sort of here, couple of years.
Right here on our right hand side, but we'll get into that a little bit later. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about the different colors of ice. The amazing Athabasca Glacier. Woo! That is right ahead of us. That is the main event. This is where you folks are going to be getting out and walking around on the glacier, taking photos, and basically doing whatever you want within reason. Now, if you folks take a look on your left-hand side, we have some mountain goats of the two-legged variety. It's an 18% grade, so this is about double that. And if you're really good at math, if you know your angles, it's about an 18-degree decline. If you're not so good at math, it just means it's very steep. Does anyone have any questions thus far? No, that's usually the case. If you guys do want to take a clearer photo, you can open the windows. They open and close by pushing or pulling on the beam in the center, depending on where you're sitting. And in the meantime, I will get you guys to keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times and put your arms in the air for the slowest moving roller coaster ever. Woo! I know you're not going to get butterflies on this one, but it's still pretty exhilarating nonetheless. Alright, almost the entire bus is into the steeper part of the descent now. You might feel yourself slide in your seat a little bit. I waxed them this morning. I'm just kidding. Imagine you guys would all be up here in the windshield with me. So we're currently going down what we call the lateral moraine. Lateral just means side, and moraine is a fair. So you can see why we call them moraines, because pile of rock and dirt just doesn't sound as cool. If you look up at the right hand side, up behind us, this lateral moraine makes up this side of the valley that we're driving on right now. And then if you look out the front of the bus at about the 2 o'clock position, you can see the other lateral moraine opposite to us that makes up the far side. And if we could go back 150 years and we had these vehicles, we could have driven straight out onto the glacier. There would be no downhill section. The glacier's lost about 2/3 of its volume. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So there are many different types of moraines. We're not going to get into all of them. We're not going to get really specific and all scientific about it, because it's quite honestly not that interesting. But we will talk about one other type of moraine in this part of your tour. But before we do, I got to see a show of hands who's never been on a glacier before. Alrighty, folks. So congratulations, you made it up quite a bit higher than the glacier is at an equal point based on the length, and that is because this rock is actually insulating the glacier. It's keeping the cold in, acts like a bit of a cooler, and it stops it from getting hit with direct sunlight. And if you guys still don't believe me, you think I'm making this up, because I probably could tell you anything and you believe me right now. I do have a proof that we are on the glacier. If you look at the left-hand side, we have a crevasse. You can see exposed ice right there. So the glacier actually goes up higher than we're sitting right now. Now, when that first opened up, it was that beautiful blue color that clean off the tires. Now this is not only for looks. Of course, we want them to be squeaky clean for your photos. We also don't want to bring any excess rock, dirt, and sediment onto the glacier, because it'll make it melt faster. And it's already melting at an alarming speed, so we don't want to do that. But now that we're out of the tire watch, we can crank up the speed a little bit. I'll do a little bit of a drift here for you. There we go, big drift. Pretty much just a turn, but that's okay.